Yo, 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 headbutts and slow blinks, good people. It's your boy Sterling, Trap King Davis, and my sis from another mister.
I'm Shannon Jackson, and we are the
The
same
same team
team
pod.
podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know why we say it like that.
Right.
We're still trying to get our introduction down. It's like we're trying to just like we do everything that's organic. It'll come out eventually.
I like it like that though. I gotta
I
gotta
like it.
be honest with you. Like since we've been talking about doing it and then doing it, the whole process has been an organic process, and I love watching it grow. And I love everybody. Thank y'all that's responding, giving us advice, tips, compliments. Some people even told me some stuff that I need to stop doing. So we appreciate all of it.
Yeah, you guys have been really positive. There's been a lot of positive feedback on our social media. I know that I've received messages on my personal DMs and also on the same team one. And thanks for participating and engaging with on there. It's been really cool, and it's been really encouraging to see the feedback and also that we're learning from you guys too when you give us your own experiences or something that helped you or why you even are here, for animals, which is why we're all here.
Right.
So it's been really cool. I've been really enjoying it. And then, Sterling and I now we get to hang out once a week, which is
Right.
nice because, we can go long periods without, we both are so into what we're doing ourselves that now we have a dedicated time weekly, and it's been good for us too. So
I always say, we were saying before, me and Shannon was always be saying how therapeutic it is for us as well to do the podcast. I know for me, I'm always thinking like when I'm out working with people, rescuing cats, trapping, or whatever I'm doing, I always think back to some of our topics on, that we didn't have so far. And I'm like,
mhm.
let me make sure I'm always practicing what I preach. We just talked
It's
about that
hard.
in
Yeah.
podcast.
I know. It's true though, but that's the thing. It's I think that's why it's good that we're doing this because we're just human beings and we're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to try to be better with you because
Right.
you know, everybody if you're a human being and you're interacting with other human beings, there we all can learn from one another because we all have such a different background, everything. And and then bringing in something that you're so passionate about, animals, that
Right.
personalities are going to clash, but it is sometimes hard. Like I do the same thing that you do, Sterling. I have been since we started the podcast. It's like I'll just find myself getting obsessive about something and I'm like, what? No, stop. Don't even think about that. It's not going to be a productive thing for you to
Right.
worry about what somebody else is doing or, so I feel like it's putting me back to the reason why we're here, which is for animals. Like if you're listening to this podcast, wherever you are out there, it's because you love animals and you are somehow probably volunteering, working within rescue, TNR, advocacy work, whatever. So we're glad that you're here, and we hope that, we can find some solutions together because human beings, we're challenging to ourselves. I challenge myself all the time. I wouldn't, yeah.
Oh, that's the rescue way though, right? To challenge that's kind of what today's topic is a little bit about though, because
Yeah.
people challenge ourselves whew, more than
Yeah.
anybody else. Like that's a big deal. Like we'll push ourselves to the brink of it. And that's the main thing we want to talk about today is it's okay to be okay when you rescue. Like a lot of times we will, we take a lot of pride in overdoing it or doing too much, which
Oh,
it's nothing wrong with taking pride in
hold on
it.
here. For those of you listening, what you just said, Sterling, what did you say? What you said? Do you remember what you just said?
So I said it's okay to be okay while you do rescue. A lot of people take pride in overdoing it. Oh my God. Look at this sign. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So for the people,
I was like, wait, this is a visual aid for those of you who are watching on YouTube of what not to do, what not to do. But this is in my house. So what does that say about me? It's like,
That's hilarious. But that's the thing though. So many of us will take a ton of pride in the hard work or the extra hard work or overdoing it, but then they won't take pride in taking a break or doing something for themselves or giving themselves a pat on the back. It's like, you see, I've talked with so many rescue people and they will give me a rundown of all the bad, tough, hard things. But then when I pat them on their back, they're like, no, 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 I don't congratulate me. Don't pat me on the back. It's about the cats. It's not about me. I'm not doing nothing. Like I hear people say that so much, and it's like, we gotta understand that we can take pride in taking care of our well-being as well as the well-being of the animals that we rescue and others that we help. That's the rescuers that's helping the animals.
Right. Yeah. And it's good. It's also good to encourage one another. If you see somebody, like we try to do that all the time. And I know if you follow me and Smush, like we're always promoting other that we think a good job. It's like that might be the only time somebody hears that, And I know when someone actually sees what I'm trying to do and they tell me, I got a DM from someone not that long ago in the time when I was feeling really stressed and burnt out and like I'm not doing enough all the time, which is so crazy. Like I have recognized that I do enough, but she wrote me a DM that was basically saying, I see what you're doing and I appreciate you and I love what you're trying to do for animals and being an advocate. And I needed to hear that because I felt like I wasn't doing enough. And I was like, wow, like this person that I don't even know that well. I mean, they just know me from rescue community, and just my photography and stuff. It just made me feel really good. But so if you are out there and you're seeing somebody else doing something good, maybe tell them. It takes nothing for you to be kind and tell somebody something nice about themselves, and I think also too, like, I think that's Sterling. I think that's how you and I even kind of became friends because we both appreciated each other, what we were doing, and we do completely different things,
Right.
but
Yeah.
we work together because like underneath that, the mission is the same for animals and for humans. And we have that, we also want to make a difference in the world. And we're just like, yeah, we want to work together, like our missions, even though we do completely different things, like I don't trap cats. Like I take videos of people trapping cats and make slow-mos of them coming out. And like,
Right.
I'm a hardcore social media, like advocate, photography, put it out into the world using my skills. But it's like, I appreciate Sterling out. I appreciate you being out in the community and having one-on-ones and teaching people and educating. And also like, you're out there sitting with the cats sometimes, probably less now as you've gotten to be kind of a leader in this area, but you started out like it's just like me, like both of us started out doing these things as volunteers for animals, or for you, in your case, you were an employee of that rescue that you were at, but it's and I've been an employee too with my photography, but that's what brought us together. But I think that we also appreciate each other and we constantly build each other up. So if and we're close friends now, but in the beginning it was kind of like, hey dude, like I see, I've sent you probably a message like I just received from this person. I was like, and now we're friends, but and it doesn't mean you're going to be friends with that person, but remembering like, I really like what you're doing. It's really cool. And I really, resonates with me. And I remember asking you if I could use your hashtag because, I'm so social media person. And I was like, ooh, I love your hashtag. I think I even said I wanted to tattoo it on my body, which now I feel like I need to even more now.
Right. I'm definitely thinking about getting that tattoo on the same team. Like that's a big deal because it's more than just, like you said, it's more than just a podcast. It's a way of life. And I think that mentality, that way of life again is what connected us. And that's like, like you said, with you, that two people I know, you and Sassy out of New York. Sassy, if y'all haven't heard of Sassy Badass TNR, she's dope. But you and Sassy,
I have to go follow her. I don't think I know who that is.
Oh, you got to check her out. She dope. Yeah. She was in that movie. She was in a cat movie. I can't remember what it was, but she, you and her, we always would come back. And when we talk to each other, the conversation would be different. It wasn't always just like, oh, I'm going through this, it's hard, I'm sad, it's bad. Like a lot of times my conversations with you and Sassy was always like a pat on the back and positive. It was like, hey, you doing good. Hey, I like what you're doing. I like how you did that. I like that post you did. And that means a lot. That's changing
Yeah.
that conversation helps a lot. Cause I swear, usually when you hear rescue folks talk, that's what we're doing. We taking so much pride in burning ourselves out. That, as crazy as that sounds, I know a ton of people listening can relate to it because you hear it all the time. It's like, dang, I only trapped 3 cats, or dang, I'm feeding 100 colonies every night in a span of 2 hours. Like that's a lot of stuff, and it's nothing wrong with taking pride in being able to do a lot. But like I said, I think a lot of times we take pride in overdoing it, just completely hurting ourselves with it. And I think it's not bad if you pat yourself on the back, you pat others on the back a little bit more so that you don't burn out. It's okay to do for yourself. Like we said, it's okay to be okay when you're doing rescue. You don't
Right.
have to be sad.
Yeah, you don't have to be you don't have to be stressed. I mean, but I feel like that's even a cultural thing with being a workaholic, which I suffer from a lot. And I'm trying to be a lot better because most people that have that workaholic tendency, it's almost like you don't even realize you're doing it until it's too late and you do burn out. So, and a lot of like the culture of just the world, like, oh, I'm a boss and all this stuff, which, okay, whatever. Like, I mean, it depends on, you can be a boss and still take care of yourself and not burn yourself out to the point of what do you want to do, what happens when you die? Do you want
Right.
something, something on your tombstone that said they worked a lot, or do you want to say they lived a lot? So, and
Right.
when it comes to animals too, it's like there's that added pressure sometimes of, oh, if I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that, like, I'm not gonna, somebody's gonna suffer. But the thing is, you can't do everything. You can't. And like, you have to take time sometimes to reflect and step away and like realize, you're only as good as you are to yourself, really. You
Right.
can,
Right.
eventually somebody who's just going to be a workaholic is going to burn out. I mean, I've burnt out. I worked for the same company for 10 years, nothing to do with animal welfare, but just a lot of times it's just a personality trait. And I feel like a lot of people within animal welfare have that. It's like, you got to keep
Um,
going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's just like, no, let's go at a slow, steady, like strong, solid pace with each other. I don't know.
because it's a the rescue mission, the mission rescue, all of it, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, so you want to pace yourself
Yeah.
for the long haul. You don't want to od on just a quick sprint and burning out like that. It's a marathon thing, and that's
Oh
something
yeah.
that I've definitely had to learn, because like most people, as soon as I got started, it was like, oh, I gotta trap me 30 cats every night. I'm going. And the crazy thing about it is I had to really, again, we always preach in therapy. I had to really focus in on my therapy because it was tough during the pandemic, because again, feeling like I'm not doing enough, ready to beat myself up about it because I wasn't trapping as much during the pandemic. And then with me too, because like Shannon, what you were saying earlier, not only just the pandemic, but because of all that I'm doing, it's a lot more other thing. I'm doing things in different ways. Whereas usually every night before the pandemic, yeah, I'm out here trying to trap 20 cats a night. Now it's more so education. I'm going to this city to help somebody raise funds. I'm going to this state to help bolster their TNR program, or I'm donating to these colony feeders. It's other stuff now, and not just the trap. And so I had to really sit back and try not to beat myself up, because I was like, man, I'm not even trapping as many cats. Like, I want to do more. The pandemic and everything else, it was
Mhm.
tough. It was tough, but I had to learn,
Yeah.
hey, it's okay to be okay when you doing rescue.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, and plus too, like what you were just talking about, how like everything goes back to the pandemic changing things, because it really has. In the last 2 years, life has changed dramatically for a lot of us in the way that we do things. I don't travel as much as I used to. Number one, because I don't have money for it, because I no longer have my nonprofit. And plus, I've just kind of gone into, I mean, I'm very virtual as it is anyway, because what I do is I use social media to promote others, and I've been doing that for many years, and different, Sterling, that's how even I was like, hey, do you want to take over our Suspicious Stories? I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's how we even kind of, got together a couple years ago. But I think that during the pandemic too, like what you were just saying, how you had your routine, like every night you'd be out there trapping cats and stuff. And then it just kind of changed. And like you've gone in a direction that's completely different. It's still, I mean, it's the same, but it's different, where you are more in a role of education, and you're working more with, you know, um, larger organizations, like your Greece trip, for example. That's amazing, and I personally myself too, I feel like, because I haven't been out traveling myself to take pictures or like, create these stories from my own travels. It's almost like now I'm directing people what to do with larger organizations. And so that's how, and that's the work that we do. And it just has changed. But I know before I was like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. It's just different. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it still feel that way. You break that routine. It's tough because I was like that, like, man, like I'm doing so much stuff. What was it called? Zoom fatigue, virtual fatigue, or whatever people was going through for a while. And that was me, because I'm so used to, like, before we even got on, Shannon and I were talking about, social media and things like that, and how different it is in real life. And that's like how it was for me to do so much virtual stuff. When I looked up and everything was on Zoom, it was tough for me, because I'm in life person. Like, like if you knew me in high school, if you knew me at any school I went to, okay, Sterling was out there. He was like, he was always performing, doing something. So for me to do, go into this virtual thing it's different. It's different. It's definitely tough.
It is. And it is funny, because everybody has experienced that in some way. And I feel like I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until I actually talked about it. And I'm like, God, I haven't left my house for many, many days. But I'm still doing all of these things, but I'm doing them from in the same place. And that really fucks with your head sometimes, especially if you're alone, it's like, God, I haven't taken a shower. Like, I'm just like, like on my computer. But in the past, before the pandemic, I feel like I always had a nice balance of the virtual and the, in person, just in life in general, and so I think now, slowly, as things are resuming to whatever normal is, I mean, I think it's different wherever. I live in Florida, so I can't even say anything about that. This is a crazy place. I'm like ready to move. If you follow me on social media, I was very upset this week about the whole "Don't Say Gay" bill and all of that. I'm like, am I gonna have to move? If I had children, I would be really considered, like, human children. But anyway, yeah, I don't know.
I'm afraid of that.
Yeah, we should talk a little bit about the current events of the week.
Right. Yo,
we have to. Like,
I was one of the people that, because I'm gonna tell you, of course, we know the slap heard around the world. And I wasn't like, I haven't really addressed it. I've made a few jokes here and there, real small ones, but I haven't really addressed it, because I happen to like Will Smith and Chris Rock. So it was painful.
Too.
It was painful for it to happen, because most people were picking a side. And I'm like, I don't want to pick a side. I'm just sad. Like, I'm just sad. I didn't really want to pick a side with it. But the funny thing about it, though, is that we had just made that post about Larry and the slap on the same team pod.
Yes, and we were talking last week, because I didn't watch the Oscars, but we had Jessica Josephs on last week, and we were podcasting from our respective porches, and Sterling was in Deb's house. But talk about, Jess was saying something about how therapy helped her to deal with her shit, so she didn't bitch slap somebody. And we were talking about, because you don't want to be like Larry. And then the next, because Sterling and Jessica and I have a chat, because we're friends and we say
we got an ongoing thread.
But I went to sleep that night and I woke up in the morning to the Oscars thing, and I'm like, that is so funny, because we were talking about the slap. We were talking about slapping, and then the Larry post about don't be Larry. We always talk about that now. It's like a thing on the podcast because of the video. Go back and look at it if you have it. It's posted on our on Sterling's, on the original Trap King and the Same Team Pod Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, that was really interesting. But you know what's funny about that whole situation? Like I have to say, I just laughed at it, because I'm like, what has the world come to? This is like a reality TV show, because just like what we were just talking about being so virtual. And then this is the Oscars, which you think it's this, people should be professional, like it's been around for many years. And I know it's actors, whatever, but like that, I couldn't even believe it, because I've watched the uncensored version when he just goes up there and is like, boom. But then Chris Rock handled it very, very well. He did. But then Will Smith started screaming, and I'm like, and that was coming from his soul. You could tell. But like, it's just,
he felt that. He definitely felt that. I definitely feel like a lot of people said that slap came from a lot of stuff more beyond just Chris Rock, because
he was Larry. He was Larry.
Will Smith burnt out as much. Listen, as much we think that the Oscars, don't be Larry or Will Smith. If you are out here doing rescue and you rescue it, or you work in the service of any way, trust me, give yourself a break, because even at the Oscars, you see Will Smith, even everybody burns out. Anybody can burn out. Will Smith burnt out. He burnt out. Like that was
He apologized. Did you see? He apologized. I saw the other he posted, and he sounded like, I like Will Smith. I've always liked the and Jada. Like I've always like, their family is just a little quirky, but that's why I like them. But but again, I don't know them. They're just like people don't know us. It's like you see, but they're very out there, and they're very vocal about their polyamorous lifestyle. They're out there about the Jaden, he dresses in like women's and men's clothes. They just do their own thing. And Willow Smith, I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. I can't, like, anyone out there listening that used to work with me at Barnes & Noble, I was a manager at Barnes & Noble back in the day. I used to play that and blast it from the cafe like 15 years ago. They hated me, but I loved it. I was like, you're listening to this. Like,
hey, this is what we planned.
Oh my God, yes. That's going to be we're going to put that on our
I like
thing,
that.
But,
what I did like, though, what I will say, what I liked about it was about the Will Smith situation, because it was sad. But what I will say is, shout out to Denzel Washington, because Denzel came through like the Same Team Pod. He actually pulled Will Smith aside and prayed with him, and that was before Will got the award and everything. And I wouldn't sit here and tell you I'm a religious person or anything like that, but I thought that was amazing that Denzel pulled him to the side to pray with him after that, because like I said, the burnout, sometimes you got to stop and do what you need to do to reset.
Right.
One of the things me and Shannon do is hit up our buddy Jess. Everybody got their own different thing, but you got to take a second and reset. And I thought that was cool that it was people trying to reach out and help and be positive in ways, because everybody was ready to take a side and be negative, give an opinion. But I really hope that they get that together. That was a crazy event. I hope everybody in rescue seriously looks at that and understand that it's okay if you get stressed out. It's anybody. It can happen to anybody, as you can see, and anywhere. At the Oscars, that was the biggest night of that man's life. And
That was so like, I still can't believe that that happened on television. But then at the same time, it's like, this is, I mean, life, I mean, everything is, someone's always watching, but like, it's just, but yeah, like, I bet he wishes he could take that back.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
the fact that that even happened at something as public as the Oscars is so crazy to me, because that just shows that this person, because Will Smith, outside of being an actor or celebrity, he's a human being. And it's like,
Right.
obviously there was a lot more going on there. And they like, something, he got triggered, but that's the same kind, like what you were just saying, Sterling, how we talk to Jess, and like I talk to you, and there's other people that I can talk to about anything. I mean, this doesn't even have to be animal welfare, it can be about any situations in your life, because everybody can be toxic. We can all be toxic and do things in a way that's not necessarily the best. But that's why it's so important to have either a therapist is better than even a friend, because they're not emotionally attached to you.
Right.
But to also have friends, like I like that I my closest friends do not live here where I live. Like I have a couple friends, I have people that I hang out with here, like, but my deepest friends, and this, it changes throughout life too, but like there are people in different parts of myself, because we all are multifaceted beings, but there's people that I can talk to about romantic stuff. There's people that I can talk to about like stuff on internet, like online, being an influencer or whatever, accidental influencer. Like I know, Sterling, I can talk to you because we're in a similar place, but
Right.
there's other people that aren't gonna, like my friend Norma, that Sterling's been to visit me here, but Norma doesn't understand that stuff, like the stuff that I get upset about. And like, but there's other friends that I talk to that, my friend Jenny, if you're out there, she probably doesn't listen to my podcast, but that's what I mean. People that aren't in your realm of whatever it is that you're upset about, it's good to have people outside of that, because they can be less biased, which is why we advocate for therapy, because those people are even more unbiased. Make sure you vet them first, make sure that it's a good fit, and you'll know, but that you vibe with them. But I'm all about paying people to talk to me, because I have a lot to say, and like I don't want it coming out because I'm being unfiltered, because I get really emotional about something, which that's something that I struggle with sometimes. It's like, I'll be upset about something, and then I feel very just, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. It's almost like I feel hurt, if somebody says something about me that's not true, or if I feel like someone's misunderstanding me, I feel like I will just defend myself or just go. And it's like, why do I feel that way, and why do I feel so slighted against this person? And it's not, first of all, it's something about something going on within myself. So talking to a therapist or a friend that also is in that mindset, I feel like it's really about, it always goes back to, it's really about you. Like Will Smith punching Chris Rock in the face was about Will Smith,
Right.
because you should be able to have self-possession and not react like that. But it's the same thing if you keep working and working and working and working. And like, I'm just imagining, Sterling, if you were in a place back when you were trapping more cats because you were doing less education and stuff, like if you were just trapping like every night and you got like obsessive and you were just out there, and like eventually you just be like, no, I can't do it anymore, and that's what happens, or
Right.
maybe somebody might come up. What if I came up to you and be like, dude, I'm real worried about you, and you said, fuck you, Shan.
Right.
You would never, but it's sometimes even verbally, it's like a punch when people say
Yeah.
things, you cannot get words back.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And that's like you say, like we always pushing with therapy, because you know, going out, it's good. Like you said, it is good to sit and be able to have someone listen to you and talk and help you work it through. That's not biased like that. It's so serious. Shannon and I was talking earlier, and I had brought up a quote that helped me so much as far as getting into it with people. And it was a Jay-Z quote. He said it in a song. And it was you know, don't argue with fools, because people from a distance can't tell who is who. Now I don't like to call people fools, but in a lot of times there's somebody that's right and somebody that's wrong. And regardless of what, going back and forth like that, it's hard to get what is actually right out of that. You know, if you arguing with somebody and they irrational for whatever reason, and you go arguing with them back, then both of y'all look kind of wild. And then what's the good that comes out of it? And then before you know it, somebody's Larry, somebody's Will
Yeah.
Smith. We just out here.
Right. Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
out here miscommunicating, misunderstanding, and doing the
Yeah.
most. But that's a
Yeah.
that's a big deal. That's why I say it's okay. I can't stress that enough. It's okay to be okay. And not just in rescue, but I feel like whatever you're doing, because with you, Shannon, it's not necessarily just rescuing, trapping the cats. But even with what you do, is so much to it. Like you said, when you weren't out and able to take the pictures and do it as live and in person as much, and so many things were virtual, you know, it weighed on you, because it's like, man, am I doing enough? I'm not doing the exact same thing. So am I doing enough? Am I doing this? Is it this? And it's like,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's it's
But
okay.
you,
We will knock
yeah.
each other out and beat each other down about it.
Well, but it's crazy about that though, because it's kind of the opposite of what you were saying before about you were feeling bad. Oh, it's like 6 o'clock or it's time to go or whatever. You know, I don't know what time, 10 o'clock. You go out late. I don't know. All you guys, Operation Catnip here in Gainesville, they say we trap at dawn. So they go out early in the morning.
I be out
But you know,
all
when your
kinds of the
routine
day.
changes, yeah. I think you're right because I think that I actually started because everything I've been doing for the last 2 years has mostly been through creating content, which I hate creating content. It's like it doesn't just appear, guys. It's like, you know, it doesn't just appear there, you know. But like, and for me, it just come. I do it from. I'm very emotionally attached to like everything that I do. It's just it's the artist in me. Like Sterling and I were talking about that before. So if somebody criticizes me, I'm like, it's like what I'm putting out there. It's like personal, and I'm working on that. But anyway, I think that because I wasn't out, like I wasn't traveling to document important things going on in other places, like with animals, like adoption events. I wasn't at the actual shelters taking pictures. I wasn't even doing like talks anymore or like workshops on photography. Like everything was pretty much. I think I did one virtual one at the beginning of the pandemic, and then I dissolved my nonprofit. So I'm not necessarily doing that in that way anymore. But I think in the last 2 years, I've actually done more. But because it's been so virtual, I didn't realize until I realized that I had been on my phone for like 6 hours creating content. And it's like, what the fuck? You know, and then I'm like beating myself up, like, oh, but you're not there with them. You're not there with them. But I'm also telling someone, can you please take this picture and this picture? And like, you know, and then it's just all been different,
Yeah.
but that different doesn't have to be bad. And also you can be doing a lot. Like Sterling, I know, just like even if you're not trapping as many cats, like the pandemic shook us all up and kind of it's like, okay, like what am I doing now? And like how am I doing it? And you know, and it's different for everyone. I know that like thinking about some of the like talking about, I mean, I know we're talking about our things specific to us, but I know a lot of rescues had to adapt the way they did adoptions because of the pandemic. And like I know a lot of people were feeling really overwhelmed too because they don't have enough resources. And the pandemic, there is a lot going on economically, like that affected animals, and people have had to be really creative and also just kind of adapt to things. But because we don't know, it's like that new normal, we don't know what we're doing, it can be easy to feel like we're not doing enough because there's no roadmap. We don't know, like we're just trying to, okay, like I was doing it this way and now the universe was like, no, you're not doing that anymore. You know, but like because if you have confidence in something that you're doing before and you feel good about doing it and then you have to adjust what you're doing, I think that pat yourselves on the back for not giving up, you know, like
Yeah.
whatever you're doing. I said that to Sterling before because you said, oh, I only trapped so many cats and I used to trap this many. I'm like, you know, and it's kind of like even if you trap one,
Yeah.
That means something to that cat, that it's not going to have babies, or like impregnate a cat to have babies, and you're saving lives. And so, it's not about anything that you do is okay. And I say that to myself too. Like, we need to give ourselves a break.
And it's
and
okay. Like,
also, yeah.
it's not bad to give
Yeah.
yourself a break. That was the thing that I learned hanging with my. Hey, matter of fact, I got my coaster here. Shout out to this guy, Captain Patch.
Oh, so cute. Do you
Hanging out
babysit
with,
that? Do you
that's Deb's
babysit him?
cat.
Oh, it's Dev's cat. I'm
That's
like,
Deb's
wait,
cat,
does
Captain
Smush
Patch.
I'm so bad about following people. I'm like, does Smush follow Captain Patch? I'm like, I don't know.
But
Smush is her
Captain,
own.
I know Smush is a diva. Smush is busy out here. But
Oh,
I
Smush had a bad week. She had a very bad week.
literally, literally hanging out. Like during the pandemic, I hung out with Captain Patch a lot, and I like a lot of times we was just chilling. I used to feel bad about just chilling and relaxing any second of the day. Like if it was to a point to where I would sit still and I would be like, wait a minute. I mean, for 5 minutes, I would be like, okay, hold up. It's no way I'm not going through these emails. It's no way I'm not setting a trap. It's no way I'm not sending donations. It's no way I'm not feeding the colony. It's no way I'm just sitting here. Like, how dare I sit here and relax for 10, 15 minutes when there's so many cats out there that need help? But it's like, it's okay if you take a break or a second.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to. Even what you said earlier before we got on, Shannon, you was like, we was talking about being a boss.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, even if you a boss, you ain't gonna be a boss long if you ain't taking no breaks. You better
Oh, definitely not. Oh,
be a
no.
passed out boss.
Yeah, be a boss, be confident in what you're
Right.
doing, but don't be a boss so much where you're like a nasty stepping on everybody else. Just try, like, I don't know. I have to, what was that show, Boss Baby? I never watched
Oh
it, but
yeah,
I
I
never
heard of that.
saw it, but always think about this big baby. Like, I don't know, but we're
That's,
gonna have a technical difficulty here in a minute. So Sterling, I'm gonna have you talk to the people while I plug in my computer because it's gonna die. So
oh, do you
so
think?
yeah, so talk to the people and I'll be right back.
Do you think? Because I gotta tell everybody about one time where I was like seriously at it with where I was about to probably be Will Smith or Larry. And and not only was I about to go there, but then I had to take a step back and pat myself on the back for the way I ended up handling it. But it was another dude. And at first I was happy because this guy, he had a cat. It was a guy with a cat, a black guy with a cat. I'm like, oh, that's what I want to show the world, that we do this too. So, but dude didn't want to get his cat fixed. The cat is indoor, outdoor, running in and out the house, just letting his cat impregnate all the other cats in the neighborhood. I'm trying to fix the cats in the neighborhood. I want to fix his cat. And I promise you, when this dude broke down the whole point of basically he don't want his cat to lose his manhood. He want his cat to spread his seed and do his thing, and just putting all of these human emotions and feelings on the cat. I was just like, I think I envisioned myself being like Larry or Will Smith at this point, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I moved like Chris Rock instead. Oh, look at Smush.
I was listening to you the whole time talk because I'm in my house. Especially she wanted to say hello to her Uncle King.
If for y'all that can't see, they don't have the visual, Smush is in the screen being extra cute right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
dude that didn't want me to, that was talking about the manhood, and he don't want his cat to lose his manhood. He even went into the cat, one cat in the neighborhood, another male cat that I had fixed, talking about the cats being gay. Oh yeah,
Oh,
gay.
hey, you have to say it even louder now.
But he literally was talking, and this is the thing. I was like, what? I was like, first of all, if the cat was, what's wrong with that? And then for two, why do you even think that? What did that come to your head? Or how did that come in your head? And he was like, the other cat always coming up, grooming him and stuff like that. And I was like, that's not, I was like, that's like dominance. That's pecking order type thing. That's affection. It has nothing to do with a cat's sexual preference. And I swear I could envision myself being Larry or Will Smith. This is way before Will Smith, but I can
Oh
envision myself,
man.
my hand coming back with
Yeah.
a lot of force. But instead, I was more like Chris Rock, and I simply, spoke to the guy and was like, hey man, you know,
Yeah.
this cat, your cat, what if your cat goes out and messes with a cat, get a cat pregnant? What if your cat comes back with a disease? Would that motivate you? Because you talking about spreading the seed and all that. What if what if your cat go out, catch something and come back home and now your cat is sick because you worried about his sexual preference or his
Oh my
manhood? Like, think
gosh.
about what you're talking about. That
That's
was
so, but not funny. But it's like, I know people like that. Like, I know, like, I remember going to the dog park once a long time ago, like when I still was married and we had we had 4 dogs. And so we would take them to the dog park sometimes. And I remember somebody there with a huge Great Dane with the biggest balls. And it was a friend of mine's friend. So he was there with her. I was meeting her there with her dog. And I had like I think I had like 1 or 2 of my dogs with me. And then her friend came with this dog. And he said the same thing, Sterling. He was like, I said, why don't you neuter your dog? And he was just like, oh, because he's a man and I don't want him to feel like emasculated and all this stuff. And I was like, dude, he's a dog. I said, it's so much healthier for him. But he didn't, I mean, I don't know, like I just don't engage with people like that because first of all, he's obviously was not, he wanted people to see his big dog with his big balls. So that was something completely different. But like I didn't feel like I wanted to punch him or anything like that. I just was kind of like, what the, like, but I mean, everybody knows if you work within rescue or TNR or do any kind of, advocate for spay and neuter, that a lot of people don't believe in it for like very interesting reasons.
very interesting reason. And I'm just like, you ever see the thing on social media on the internet? They have them on all platforms of social media where it'll say, tell me you're this without telling me that you're this. Like when I hear guys say that thing about dogs or any animal and they put those it's like, tell me you're insecure with yourself without telling me you're insecure with yourself. And that's what it sounds like when you say, I need my cat or my dog to have these giant balls. It's like, how do you feel about yourself if you need for your pet to walk around?
We're gonna get people coming for us, but we'll just tell them with love. You gotta spay and neuter, man. You gotta spay and neuter, like,
And this is one thing, me and Shannon, we was talking about this earlier too. Shannon and I would never sit here and act like experts on stuff like that. A lot of stuff like that, a lot of different opinions, I would always refer to your vet. I would just say that because I don't overstep vets. I don't overstep vets, vet techs, and the people that know. Me as a TNR trapper, I could have an opinion on a lot of things, but the facts are the facts. It's people that went to school for this stuff, they're professionals. I won't overstep them. I won't overstep. So
yes, I'm glad that you said that because it's so true. Like, respect your veterinarians, your vet, not just your veterinarians, but your vet techs. Anybody who's a veterinary professional, they are there, like, that is their specialty. And those people that went to school, like veterinarians that went to school and for all that time, they have a lot of knowledge that we don't have. Like, I have a lot of veterinarian friends, and sometimes I think because I'm within the community, sometimes they start talking to me in their medical speak, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. It's right. I just kind of like, even within TNR, like Melissa Symes which we're going to have her on here at some point, from Operation Catnip. She's one of my best friends, but even her sometimes, I think because she's so used to speaking, because they run clinics and they're so used to speaking in the medical terminology that, she'll mention something to me and I'm like, I don't know what that is, like I'm a photographer, like I'm no, but yeah, always refer to your vet for anything. Like we had a couple comments on our Instagram speaking about a specific thing. And it's funny because really at the end of the day, like when it comes to the welfare of animals, that's the oath that they take.
Right.
That's the oath that they take, like they're doctors. So I have the utmost respect for vets. I wanted to be a vet when I was a child, and now I just surround myself with animals and all the people working within animal welfare and try to use my skills because I'm not, my mind isn't like that. And most of the people a lot of people that love animals, their mind isn't in that way. Plus, it's really expensive, and there's not that many vet schools in general in the United States. And like, we're gonna have to have some veterinary professionals come on here sometime because
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a lot. I mean, I know it's frustrating dealing with rescue people that act like they know more than the vets, and it's like, no, you really don't. You really
Yeah.
don't. You know.
And we all got our own different opinions, different process and way of doing things, and that's fine. But I always try respect the professionals, respect the
Yeah.
professionals. I
Respect.
I have a lot of vet friends that, what they say, I respect that. It's the same way, just like I was dealing with HOAs, and someone on the HOA board that's in real estate was trying to tell me about TNR, and it's like, hey man,
Right.
you do real
That's so
estate, I do
funny.
cat rescue. Let's do our
Yeah.
thing, but let's not
That's so funny.
beat
Yeah.
each other up in each other's. I'm not gonna tell you how to rent
Right.
this property or sell this house or anything. So don't beat me up
Right.
about
Yeah.
what TNR is
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the way
Yeah.
to go.
We all have our expertise. And it's like if somebody wants to come to me and talk to me about running a social media campaign or branding or about marketing or communications, I'm like, that's my job. Like,
Right, right.
I mean, but I don't think sometimes people realize that because of like a lot of people know me outside of that. They know me as Smish's mom, and I'm like, no, I'm actually a professional, like, and do this full time for money too. But like,
Right,
but
right.
you know what I mean? It's like, but people, everybody likes to try to be an expert, and a lot of times people just want to defend themselves and be right. So a lot of times people just want to argue. Not, I don't even think they really want to argue. I think that a lot of times people just want to defend, and I've all done it, but I feel like, when you're having a conversation with somebody and you don't agree with it, and rather than being open to another opinion, the person will just like clench in and just defend it to the
Yeah.
end. And it's like, we Sterling and I were talking about this before we came on the podcast, because we come up work brainstorming ideas for other episodes and stuff. But I do think that one thing that Sterling, you and I have, is that we know that we know nothing, so it makes us open to everything. But I know that we're confident about what we have and what we know, but we're never going to be like, no, that's wrong.
Right, right,
I
right,
mean, unless you're abused, unless there's like within reason. I mean, but
right,
just in general, when it comes to people, I mean, obviously, like I would never advocate for any kind of abuse at
right.
all, but because some people want to call something abuse that's not, though. So it's just yeah, you just gotta be open to conversations with people. And also, if you can't come up for a solution when you're having an argument, get a mediator.
Yes, yes. That is, I think mediation is big. And a lot of times, like you said, Shannon, that's the thing. A lot of times you'll have people holding on to the debate, for the
Yeah.
sake of winning the debate, but it's no growth in that. It's no growth. And a lot of times a mediator, I think, can help out with that a lot. I definitely think I'm hoping that same team pod,
Yeah.
we can smush the beef and help
Yeah.
as some form of mediation, even
Right.
though, like I say, we're not professionals. But that's another thing during the pandemic that I think we was able to tap into, is helping. And that's another help, is the relationship between
Mhm.
rescues and rescuers. I mean, even if
Yeah.
not out there setting the trap, if you could bring two rescuers together that didn't know each other and needed the resources of each other, then you just helped rescue some
Yeah.
animals too. So that's a thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because we're all on the same team, right?
Same
We're
baby.
all on the same team, maybe. Even if you don't, like I always say, it's so funny because I think about when I was thinking about a lot of these things that we're talking about, the different topics, and I don't know, you think about different types of teams. Like when I was young, like I grew up, I have two brothers, and my brothers played sports. Well, it's funny because my younger brother played a little sports and then he just got all into music because we're just, that's what happens. But I used to go to my brother's his softball game, or little league, that's what it was. I was like, little league game. But I do remember, it's like any kind of team situation, a lot of times you have no control over who your teammates are. So when we're talking about topics, I'm trying to envision like this, people with like baseball uniforms on, but like everybody's so different, but it's like you're having to like be a certain, we're all in the team together, but you're not gonna work well for the thing that you're on the team for, which in this case it's animals, if you're constantly like saying, oh, I don't like how he rolled up his uniform leg, or like I don't like how that person added like I probably would add like flowers or something, I'd paint on my suit or whatever. I don't know, I'm not sportsy, I never played sports, so but like but yeah, like, but I keep thinking about that and thinking about same team as the concept within not just even animal welfare, but just in general. It's like we're all human beings on the planet. It'd be nice if we could all just work together to make things better. And it's like it's just hard because
And you would actually, a lot of people that would speak of like sports and stuff. The crazy thing about sports, because I played basketball and football growing up, and then I was in the military. And military isn't a sport, but it's a team. It's not a
yeah,
sport, but it's a team. And the thing that I learned about sports and in the military is that on a lot of these sports teams, you see soccer teams, basketball teams, baseball teams, football teams, whatever. You see these teams, the person that you see that's considered the best or the top player of that team probably isn't the top player in the locker room. The top player in the locker room is the vocal person, the glue that can bring everybody together. So you'll see someone that's really big and they score all the points or make all the plays, but in the locker room, the person that's talking to everybody, motivating everybody, that's the glue. That may be the team captain, and that's an important position. That's a needed position. It's very needed. It's one thing to play it and do it like that, but that glue, being able to communicate and be same team like that, that's an important position. And I seen that even in the military. I take pride in that because in the military, I felt like that's what I was good at. I wasn't the best at everything in the Navy, but amongst my guys in my division, I felt like I could communicate. I help break up some fights. I help inspire some people. Like when people was lagging behind in PT, it was a couple people I could motivate to finish they workout. So it's stuff, it's stuff like that. And I think that's probably a whole nother topic too, but it as far as everybody having a role and being able to play their part like that, I think that's a big deal. But you'd be surprised how that can be just as big as a player on that team as the person you see scoring all the points. And that's the person that's the glue that's in the locker room giving the inspirational speech before they go out and play soccer or play the game or do whatever.
Right. That's so interesting because it's so true. But I also know that because when you were talking, I'm like, yeah, that would be me too if I was there. And that's why we're doing this podcast together, because both of us have that ability to communicate with lots of different people and not really take it personally unless it's about us, like, or that's completely different. But that's because we're artists and we're sensitive. But you know what I mean. But when it comes to being that cheerleader, I mean, look at our social media. It's like, what you see, and which is just a snapshot, but it's like we're constantly promoting others because they're doing good work. And so that's why, going back to what I was talking about earlier, like when I got that DM from someone telling me like how, like what I was doing, like how it made a difference, it made me want to do even more. Like people want like that's why, like when you were just talking about like the person in with the sports, it's like people need, that's why people have cheerleaders, you know, it's like, I mean,
Mascot.
that's what, yeah, all of it. It's just, yeah.
Y'all,
So I don't
y'all
know.
see me and
If you're,
Shannon doing all
yeah,
the talking, but this is smushing to me to Joe.
yeah, right. I know, right.
Beforehand.
What about Alanis? Poor
Hey,
Alanis.
Alanis. Alanis,
Alanis is like,
I
hello,
gotta
look at me.
stop. I gotta stop leaving Alanis Morissette out. My baby Alanis she's a tomboy and she's still in her independent stage. Like she is hilarious. Like Demita's the diva and she cuddles more. Alanis is just getting more cuddly. She got her certain times where
Yeah,
she's cuddly, but she is so like, I'm my own thing. I'm over here doing this. Like
yeah,
she's still in
yeah.
that phase.
Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. I love that they were here once when Sterling came to my house and plugged his RV and blew out my power.
Oh yeah.
But it was so cool because I remember in the morning going outside and you were still asleep and we had to be at Operation Catnip. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
And I was just like, is he awake in there? I'm like, we had stayed up super late
we
the night
was up
before.
so late thinking
So
about
late.
this coming to be this podcast to
Yes,
be.
yes. But I remember your girls were up there and then they saw humans. So they probably were like, oh, food machine is here,
Right,
you
right.
know, like but so funny. But
That's
yeah.
what my
So
girls
if you're,
think. As soon as they see somebody, they like, "Are you here to feed?" Your feet, bro.
Smush is just like, why are you here? What do you want from me? You know, like, let me sniff you. Okay, so since we're talking about our cats, so for those of you who follow me and Smush, like, Smush she had a rough week, and so she went to the vet. Dr. Mandizi out there. I've known her for years. Like she actually was Smush's first vet. But I take her to the College of Vet Med, and they actually moved their primary care to a different place, but it used to be in the middle of the emergency area, and it was just really I don't know, just a lot busier. So now they have like a cat area and everything, but Smush's other vet actually retired. So I was like, I need to bring her, but she is a challenge. Like Smush is not good at the vet. Like I had to bring her back to be sedated because the first week she freaked out and attacked me. It was very bad. I may have even talked about it on the podcast, but yeah, Smush this week, she had to be put in one of those squeeze cages like they put the TNR cats in to give
Oh,
her
yeah.
anesthesia. Thankfully I didn't have to see it because I'm so like she's my baby, you know, and so but she was she's fine and she's vaccinated. She's 7.84 pounds. She's just little and she's very healthy, body score high. Like, but she's Smush, I'm talking about you. Oh,
She
there
like,
she
are you
goes,
talking?
there she goes.
Look, she
There
like,
she
wait, you
goes.
talking about me?
She's always about her. But anyway, I kept laughing because I watched that movie Inventing Anna, and like she was always like, I am VIP, and I'm like, Smush got put in the VIP room. Like, what? But
I still haven't seen
it's
Inventing Anna yet.
oh my gosh, like that is a crazy story. But anyway, yeah. But thanks for everybody who checked on Smush, and she's doing good. She's back. There she is again. Hi, baby. But yeah, she's vaccinated. Her mouth is okay. They want me to brush her teeth, so good luck to me in that way.
Ooh.
So
We can talk about those issues with a lot because Alanis is, both Alanis is rescued too. Both of all my babies are rescued too as well. So
yeah.
Alanis, like most stray and feral cats, they usually have dental issues, and
Oh yeah.
Alanis has a ton. I mean, she is going. I've already spent a ton on her dental issues, but she's gonna have more. She's probably gonna look at look at Smush. She's probably gonna lose her teeth pretty young. Look,
how old is she?
Alanis is only 2.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's young. I got her when I trapped her, she was just big enough to get trapped.
That's so funny.
Look,
It's so crazy. I know. Smush, are you on the podcast?
y'all got
like I am. She said, I am the podcast ass bitch.
Right. She just sitting there chilling in the chair.
She's biting me. Like, but she's being really gentle. But you can tell how small she is. People think she's so big, but she's not.
I thought she was big.
Yeah. What did you think when you met her?
That's the first thing that I saw. It was meeting Smush was like, I think a lot of people meet me because everybody think I'm a huge man online. And I felt the same way about Smush. I thought Smush was a lot bigger, but when I saw her, I was like, oh, you're so little.
She's
Like compared to
little.
what I thought in my mind, I thought she was like well over 10 pounds, like just a
She's
much
not
bigger
even
cat.
8. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's not
that's the
even
thing.
she's a baby. She's
That
like
was and Alanis is probably actually the biggest cat. She's probably gonna be the biggest cat I've ever had. Alanis is big.
she looks bigger because of her fur too, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, her fur do it
Yeah.
too, but she's even her weight, she's a little heavier. Like she's younger and bigger than Demita by far, which is crazy to me. But Alanis is it'll probably be a toss up between her and Rick James. But Rick James was just full of fur.
Oh.
Rick was just fur. He was mainly fur, but Alanis is pretty thick. Her paws are still big. Like she's a big cat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Smushy. I wish
Her
I could see Smush.
her tongue sticking out. So I still can't believe that she went right up to you like that, especially with you having your own cats in the car. So because when you came here last year, like I have video, of course I videoed
Right.
it. You probably have video from the other side. I mean,
Oh
she
yeah.
definitely was ready for you to leave, because she's like that with my mom comes over and she's fine with my mom, but she's ready. Like she's okay with my friend Norma and kind of I think because she lives here and she's not spending the night. But I mean, even though you spent the night in your house that you pulled up to in your
Right.
RV, we were in here, we were hanging out, we were just chilling for hours. And then when you went back, she was like very happy that you were gone. But
Right.
she didn't mind you at all. She went right
It
up
was
to you.
cool. Like when she came up to me,
Yeah.
I felt pretty
Couldn't
honored.
believe it. You
Even though
should.
towards the
You
end,
should.
she still was giving me slight looks like, all right, either you produce some bread or get out of here.
Oh my God. Remember I gave you a piece of bread to give to her. Oh,
Yeah.
here. This is because Sterling and I need an alarm now to stop us the podcast. Alexa off. I said that's our alarm that we need to start winding down.
That's our wind down alarm because we will just go.
That's our yeah, because like we told you guys, this is also it's very therapeutic for us, and that's what we hope you get out of it, because we everybody, if you're working with animals in an organization, or even if you're working even in a workplace, it's almost like all this stuff, it's very transferable, the stuff that we're talking about, which is why we can say don't be like Larry and Will Smith. It's like everybody's got their issues, and when you're interacting with other people, you need to try to be better, because otherwise it's just going to be fights all the time, or and the goal here is for us is to help animals, and so if we can do that by supporting one another, so maybe this week send somebody that you think does a good job, that maybe they send them a encouraging message saying you do keep doing this. It makes a difference, and because it does make a difference. Those things make a difference. That's what I use Smush's Instagram for constantly. And it's always like a lot of it for me too is like the vets, because if everybody, I don't know if people know about veterinarians, but there's a very high suicide rate with vets. And it's like we're also like supporting vets that we know that are doing a good job. We're supporting vets in text. Like I always want to make sure I'm including the text, but but just anybody who's out there fostering, if you're out there trapping, like you can choose, you don't have to be doing that. It's amazing that you're doing it. So if you're listening to this and if you're bringing an animal into your home, if you are, going to the shelter and walking dogs, and I want to specify something. If you're not posting about it in social media, that's okay, because posting about it on social media, that's just whatever. The actual doing the work for animals has nothing to do with social media. And I feel like I had to say that because of Sterling and I both being really big on social media. This is amazing for us because we are in a leadership role. And I mean, I feel like this was supposed to happen. I'm grateful for this podcast, but you don't have to constantly be documenting what you're doing to
Right.
make it real, because I know people that have put animals on Instagram that aren't really being treated that well, and they're taking money from people, and that's not okay.
That's
So,
not cool.
it's so whatever you're doing, respect the animal, and if an animal doesn't want to, I mean, we'll talk about this in another episode because I have a lot of strong feelings about it, but like, if your animal doesn't want to wear clothes, don't put clothes on it.
Right.
Smush doesn't want to wear clothes. I always say she's a nudist because I think it's funny, but like Simon doesn't care less. If I put a hat on Simon, he'd be like, whatever, man,
That's like Demeter and Alanis. Demeter will wear clothes and cool. She's good with it. I tried to put clothes on Alanis a few times and she just let me know fast. No.
Oh, I put a hat on Smush once. And if she was a kitten, she was half I put a hat on her a couple times, but then I know what I'm getting myself into. And it was somebody sent me one and I wanted them to have a picture of it, but then I'm like, I'm like, that's why I always tell people don't send Smush clothes. I think PetSmart sent, it was like they sent oh my god, they sent a onesie to me. They sent a dog costume or a dog onesie for Candy. Now imagine my greyhound with the one, this is a picture of it somewhere.
I'm thinking of Candy with the onesie on. That's
yes,
oh my god.
There's a picture. But they sent me one for Smush. I'm like, hell no, I'm not putting that on Smush, because, like, and Smush is the one with all, the followers or whatever.
And Smush will probably knock somebody out trying to put some clothes. Yeah. See, Alanis don't even get aggressive. Alanis will literally just flop down and pout. She won't get mad. She'll let me put it on her, but she's going to do nothing. She treats it like it's a straight jacket.
That is so. Oh, I've seen cats do that. Like,
oh yeah, she just give up.
They go into that like weird.
She'll just like pancake down and kind of be like, "That's it. It's over now. You put a shirt on me."
Yeah. Well, we need to wrap it up. So I just this is what happens with me and Sterling. This is why we need an alarm, because it's like we'll start. We weren't even talking about that. Like we were just saying the whole mission of Same Team is respect animals and humans, even if they're different than you. You don't have to like them. Don't punch them in the face. Don't call them a beep beep. I'm not going to say.
Right.
Don't be
Larry, don't be Will.
Yeah. If you need to get punching back, that's okay, because people are really frustrating. Like, dude with his dog with his balls, like whatever. But, but there are better ways to deal with the human problems that we have when working on a team. And I feel like when it comes to a team that's for animals, it's about them. It's not about us. So we need to keep ourselves in check. And you know what? We were going to talk about something different about taking a break, which we never got to. This is what happens. We never know what our topic is going to really be until after.
We like Seinfeld.
I know, right? Improv. I did improv in high school, so it's like
I love improv.
Yeah. But anyway, we hope you're getting something out of this. Like I know that I am.
I definitely am. And as we like we were saying earlier, I love the organic growth, because we're not claiming to be experts, professionals in a lot of this stuff, but we're here for the same reason, and that's to open up this space, work together, because regardless if you don't like somebody's process, procedure, methods, how they look, or whatever, we are still on the same team for animals, and it's for them while we're doing it. So that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. So we hope you have a great week. Next week we'll hopefully have a guest that we haven't asked yet, but we'll see. So keep
a mutual friend that's very cool.
Yeah, we're gonna start. What did you guys think about us having Jessica Josephs on from Coal and Marmalade, who by the way, like, thank you, Jess, if you're listening, for coming on and giving us your wisdom and the things that you do for your own self-care and keeping yourself like where you are right now. Jess is, how Sterling, you were talking about having that person behind the star or whatever, because Jess is kind of like that for Chris. Chris is out there trapping. Jess is taking a break right now from any kind of rescue, but their business is the media company, which it's called, I forget, they change. It's like Fertastics. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get it wrong, but Coal and Marmalade, their website is like it's constantly, it's a media company, and so Jess is the boss of that. Sorry, Chris. But but no, but like Chris is the one. Chris is out there trapping cats and stuff, and like he can do that because he has Jess doing the other stuff and also supporting. And
Jess
so
is, like I say, she be like, all right, we gotta, y'all might not know this, but me, Jess, and Shannon probably got a 6-month text thread going on now. It's the longest text thread ever going on.
Well, and then if we smoke a doob, it gets to be like, you know. It's like the other day, Jess was showing me, she has these cute, because okay, I was getting really into claymation, and so, and I still want to, I just, you know, there's a lot of things that I like to do, but anyway, Jess was like, did you see my polymer people or whatever? They have names, I forgot, Jess, I have the name, but she has this whole cabinet of these little clay people, and they're like creatures, and there was like a Mr. Potato Head. Did you see those at their house?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So she, like, it was funny because I haven't,
her whole art room is crazy.
It's crazy. Like she's really, it's all so organized. I'm like, how? I don't understand. Sterling and I think Jess and Chris are like, they have clones. We've talked about this. Like, how? Like, how are you doing all of that stuff? So, but anyway, but yeah, Jess is someone that is, for us, is really good because she is OG as far as, you know, being someone who is a leader in this, you know, online and with animals and, you know, in the social media realm, because Coal and Marmalade and, you know, they've done so much for animals over the years and still do, but she's taking a break right now from the actual, you know, they don't foster, she's not fostering anything, and she's not working with the rescue now, but she's still I mean, maybe she's taking a break to help support us too. So just kidding. But no, we support her too. Like, but anyway, yeah,
definitely a lot. Because I know for me, when I got started, I didn't have a ton of people like that. Jessica was one of the people, you know, that really helped, that was there, that could talk. It's everybody's not, you got to find your tribe and your people and everything. So that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't even know her. She knew who Smush was before, but it was like, who is this woman in a onesie coming to me calling Shannon? And when I first met her, and I was like, but then we immediately became friends. And so, and then we're very similar, and like we have that spiritual Libra connection. And so, you know, like we talk about way more than just all this. Like, thankfully, like she's our actual friend, but it's nice to have people within the team, you know, that you vibe with. And again, it's never going to be the same person. There might be somebody who you wish was on your in your little tribe, but maybe they don't feel the same, and that's okay too. You'll find your people. I know somebody, like a lot of people feel alone, and they're like, oh, I haven't found anybody that is like, but it doesn't mean that, you know, they're not coming. Like, we hope that you find someone like that, you know, because it's really helpful.
If I found my Shannon, I found my Jess, I found my Nathan. Trust me.
Yeah. And I have Lauren. Yeah, my friend Lauren, who has Meet Maya cat, like she's one of my best friends, and we met and we talk about other things, and we're actually going to have her come on the podcast because we're going to do an episode about putting your cat on the internet to make it famous. So, because we have a lot of thoughts about that, having famous cats, that we didn't expect that to happen. So, but Lauren, like she's another person. I love you so much, Lauren. Follow her. Allworthy is their nonprofit, but they do a lot for special needs human beings, and I probably shouted her out before, but it's important to have different people too, so you're not always dumping on the same person, and also to, like we talked about before, it's okay to be okay. Have fun. You don't have to always be talking about the sad stuff. Just me, Sterling, and Jess, our little chat, it makes me laugh so hard, even if I'm not in a place to respond.
Just scrolling back, looking through the stuff
I'm like, what are they even talking about? I'm like, when I was out the other day, I was out for hours, and I've been really good about like the new feature that's like the focus feature on your iPhone. I can make it so my notifications don't come, because I'm really bad about, you know, I get on my phone and then I'm on it forever. And so I haven't been doing that. But the other day, it was like we had been talking, and then I came back, and the thread just was going. I was like, I don't even know. I'm like, I can't even read this one right now. And so I think I don't know if we
because me and Jess
anyway
was texting away, and it was like, I remember thinking,
yeah.
Shannon gonna come back, it's gonna be like 200 messages.
It was. That happened with me and Jess too. And I think Nathan came in too at one point. Nathan came in at one point too. It was like, I forgot. Yeah, because I was like, I forgot Nathan and Melissa were in that one. And I was like, we need to remove them from this because this is not, it was almost like our chat became our chat, like we always have. And I'm like, they don't need to have all this madness. So because the three of us can get crazy. We're silly. We get silly. It's good. But it's good. It's good to have people that you can just cut up with and, you know, like laugh about the things that you might, you know, be crying about something else, you know, and that support what you're doing just in life, you know. Friends are important. So
very, very.
Anyway, it's 1:38 p.m.
We gonna get out of here, y'all.
Gotta go. Yeah.
Shout out to all the rescuers, fosters, bottle baby fosters, everybody that's doing it. Again, shout out to my buddy Captain Patch. Follow that guy on Instagram. Shout out to all of y'all. We love y'all as always. We appreciate y'all. And until the next time, you don't lose cool, place fucking passion, baby. Peace out.
Peace out.